Chapter 38. After giving my orders, I quietly returned to the administrative building, technically my office, though right now it felt more like a momentary refuge from the weight of everything outside. Seal followed silently at my side. As we stepped inside and closed the door behind us, she removed her mask without a word, revealing the face that mirrored mine. I moved to my seat, sinking into it with a quiet breath. I guess this is the only time I can let my brain breathe. Seal stepped closer, folding her hands neatly in front of her. Her calm presence was a steady comfort. Neither of us spoke for a while. The silence was quiet, but not empty. Eventually, I broke it. Hey, once I become a demon lord, if I survive it, and I get the power we're hoping for, will it really be enough? She tilted her head slightly. To bring them back, I nodded. If all goes well, yes. You will likely gain an ultimate skill upon evolving. If that happens, resurrection becomes possible. I looked down at my hands. Possible, I'll take it. There is no certainty, but if anyone can defy probability, Master, it is you. I let out a quiet chuckle. Still flattering me, I speak only what is calculated. I turned toward the window. The air outside felt tense. Heavy. They'll be arriving soon. Seal stood beside me, her voice soft but unwavering. As always, I will support you from inside, Master. I gave a small nod, closing my eyes for a brief moment. Thanks, Seal, I'm counting on you. A quiet calm settled over the room. The time for mourning had passed. Now, it was time to act. A polite knock sounded at the door. My lady, came Ren's voice, her usual calm tone wrapped in something softer. Everyone has gathered. It's time. I turned, catching the faintest trace of her smile as she stepped in. Her violet eyes, though still reserved, were easier to read now, concern and a quiet sense of pride. You really scared us this time, she said quietly, walking up beside me. But, I'm glad you're back. Hey, I never really left, you know, I replied, trying to sound light. Just, took a detour through the depths of despair. She didn't laugh, but her eyes softened further. A dramatic detour, but you're here now, and that's enough. I glanced at her, then offered a small, grateful smile. Thanks, Ren, she nodded. Of course, my lady. Let's go remind the world why they should never underestimate you. With that, we stepped out alongside her, heading for the war room. My footsteps were steady, my resolve, firmer than ever. The door opened. Everyone was waiting. It was time. I walked into the meeting room. Ren stepped aside with a graceful bow. Everyone is assembled, my lady. Seal followed behind me silently, taking her place to my right while Ren stood to my left. The others were already there, commanders, allies, key members of Tempest's leadership. Yume sat near Majoran, leaning back with his arms crossed. Grucius sat beside them, quiet. I didn't take my seat. Instead, I walked over to Yume. Yume, I need to ask something of you. He blinked, cautious. What is it? The kingdom of Pharmus will collapse. Its leadership, the ones responsible for this attack, won't live to see another sunrise. His brow furrowed. He sat up straighter. The people they ruled will be left behind, with no one to guide them. No leadership, no order. That's where you come in. I looked him straight in the eyes. Yume, I want you to take the throne. What? He breathed. You want me to be king? Yes. You've seen both sides, commoners and nobles, warriors and wanderers. You can be someone they can actually trust. Majoran looked surprised but didn't speak. Grucius gave only the faintest shift of his brows. Yume's voice was quiet. That's a hell of a thing to drop on a guy out of nowhere. I just smiled. He looked toward Majoran, who gave him a small nod, then back at me with a steady breath. All right, if you're serious, I'll do it. Good, I said simply, turning to face the others. Now let's begin. We've got work to do. Sorry I left you guys in the lurch for so long. We're here to convene a meeting over resurrecting Xian, Gobzo, and everybody else. The declaration sent a stir through the room. Relief, hope, and determination lit up every face. My words had brought them back from despair, and now they were ready to move. Now, before I give you my own ideas, I would like to hear your opinions about the kingdom of Pharmus and about humans in general. One by one, they shared their thoughts. Some spoke bluntly of revenge, others weighed caution. There were discussions on diplomacy, the threat of future invasions, and the need for justice. But in the end, their stance was clear. None of them hesitated to follow me, no matter what path I chose. Once I had heard them all out, I gave a firm nod. Understood. Then let me tell you my plan. I waited for everyone to settle back down before I continued. Right, listen to me, all of you. The room fell completely silent as I stood, feeling the weight of every gaze. I myself am a former human being. I was reincarnated, as it were. That caused a stir. A few exchanged surprised looks, and murmurs rippled through the room, but no one interrupted. I could tell they weren't doubting me. Just processing the shock. Shuna, Ranga, and probably Xian had known. I'd never made a secret of it, and I might have let it slip here and there in casual conversation. But judging by the reactions now, most of them were hearing it for the first time. Still, they listened, ready to accept whatever came next. Then I told them the rest. How I was stabbed trying to help someone. How I was confused at first in this new body. How, little by little, I began to meet people, monsters, and build the life I now cherished. I didn't mention Seal. I didn't bring up anything about Veldora. I only shared what they needed to understand me, and why I'd made the decisions I had. I created that rule, not to attack humans, because I used to be one. I said I liked humans because I truly did. And let me assure you all, it was never my intention for that kindness to bring harm to any of you. I looked across the room, meeting their eyes. I'm a monster now, yes, but in my heart, I still believed I was human. I wanted to coexist with them. I thought if I reached out, showed them peace, things would be different. I paused, swallowing hard. I spent a long time walking among humans. I got used to their cities, their food, their ways. And, if only I had returned a little sooner, maybe I could have saved those children. Maybe none of this would have happened. Silence followed, and then, slowly, voices rose up around me. This wasn't your fault, Lady Rimuru. We should have protected them better. It's not right for you to bear this alone. Their kindness stung more than anything. I hadn't expected their forgiveness, not like this. And then Ren stepped forward, her voice steady. I think it's pointless to argue over whose fault it was, she said, her tone sharp and resolute. What matters now is what we do next. Let's focus on the future, and make sure something like this never happens again. Her words cut through the sorrow, anchoring the room. Everyone nodded, silent but firm. The grief was still there, but so was determination. A heavy silence followed Ren's calm voice as she ended the earlier discussion. That was when I took a deep breath and looked around the room. Everyone, I have something to say. The hall stilled. I could feel the weight of every gaze on me, but I didn't hesitate. I intend to become a demon. Lord. Shock rippled through the room, and a few audible gasps followed. But I kept going, my voice unwavering. I've made my decision. It's the only way to bring them back, Xian, Gobzo, the others. I'll claim the title, take on the burden, and face whatever consequences come with it. So I'm asking all of you, will you follow me? A moment passed, then Benimaru smiled faintly. If you do manage to become a demon lord, he said with a quiet laugh, I hope there's a role for us in it all. I am your faithful shadow, my lady, came Soe's voice through the thread connection. There is no need to confirm our relationship. I will move according to your orders. And I, my master, growled Ranga from within my shadow, am your faithful fangs. The one who will tear apart any foe who stands in your path. Shuna bowed her head gently, her voice calm and composed. Your will is mine, Lady Rimuru. I shall follow wherever you lead. Then Ren stepped forward with grace, her tone polite and perfectly measured. I exist to serve, my lady. Whatever future you pursue, I shall walk at your side. The others in the room also gave their consent in their own way, nodding, bowing, or raising their voices in determined agreement. Each of them shared the same resolve, their eyes lit with quiet fire. They had already decided long ago, wherever I led, they would follow. Hearing their unwavering support, it almost made my chest ache. There was no hesitation in any of their voices. No fear, no doubt. Just belief. Belief in me. I gave them a nod, firm and grateful. All right, then let's begin. With that out of the way, it was time to switch gears and figure out a strategy against this invasion. After that, we spent the rest of the meeting discussing tactics, possible troop movements, and how best to handle the kingdom of Farmus. Everyone contributed, each voice calm, composed, but carrying an undercurrent of fury. We were united in purpose, and more than that, we had something worth fighting for. Plans were set, roles were decided, and the moment we finished, the air in the chamber felt different, sharper. Clearer. Everyone stood with purpose. No one hesitated. War was coming, and I would become a demon lord. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. After Benimaru and the others had eliminated the magical interference around Tempest, everything was finally in place. The nightmare began for the kingdom of Farmus. High above, I hovered in the sky, my gaze cast down upon the enemy encampment. The army, 20,000 strong, was spread out in a wide formation. Soldiers were lounging, eating, laughing, sharpening their blades, completely unaware that their final moments were approaching. They weren't people to me. Not anymore. They were sacrifices. I needed 10,000 lives to evolve into a demon lord. But I had no intention of stopping at 10. I would wipe out every last one of them, except for the king. I'd leave him alive. He needed to witness what he had brought upon himself. That much, I'd allow. All of them will pay. Not one will be spared, I muttered coldly to myself. This is the price for taking Xi'an, for everything. There was no room left for mercy. Only judgment. I deployed a large-scale magic circle, its span vast enough to blanket the entire Farmus force. It was fueled by anti-magic area, the great magic I'd analyzed from Majoran. A 30-mile-wide net of suppression, tight, inescapable, and perfect. The dome extended skyward, sealing even the upper atmosphere, and 10 feet deep into the earth below. The air inside was unnaturally still, cut off from the outside world. No magic could be used. No teleportation, no divine intervention, no escape. A cage of silence and death. They wouldn't know it, but the moment I cast it, their fates were sealed. They had nowhere to run. Not a single soldier in that encampment would walk away from this field. And now, it was time to begin. I extended my right hand, and the words escaped from my lips like a curse echoing from the void. Die. May the anger of the gods sear through your very souls. Megiddo. Countless threads of light burst forth from the heavens. They refracted and ricocheted, splitting through the air like divine judgment. The beams danced and shimmered silently, bending near the ground and plunging down without warning. They passed through armor, flesh, and bone without resistance. One by one, the soldiers of Farmus fell. Over 1,000 or so droplets of water floated silently around me, each one calibrated, refined, weaponized. Above, a dozen or so larger lenses hung in the sky, harnessing the power of the sun. They concentrated the light into brutal, thin beams, refined through mirror-like droplets below that angled and bent the rays toward the ground like a painter guiding a brush. Only, my canvas was death, and my strokes painted agony. These beams, searing hot and impossibly fast, pierced through arms, legs, and shoulders. This wasn't mercy. It was strategy. I wanted them to suffer. I wanted them to see what was coming and realize that no plea would save them. Cries erupted below me. Screams. The thundering chaos of men losing their minds. Soldiers clutched cauterized stumps where limbs once were, their weapons falling from ruined hands. The smell of scorched flesh mixed with the stench of fear. I made sure none of the wounded could stand. None of them would return home. I watched it all in silence. There was no hesitation in my actions. No pause for pity. They were sacrifices. And I would use every one of them. Megiddo wasn't designed for spectacle. It was quiet, clean, efficient, and absolutely terrifying. I adjusted the droplets, re-angled the beams. Another wave of light lanced downward, shearing legs from under knights who dared to flee. They collapsed mid-sprint, faces buried in the dirt, their bodies twitching under the sun's merciless gaze. And still, I didn't stop. I wasn't here for revenge. I was here for results. I needed 10,000 lives, but I would take them all. Let no one speak of this as a battle. This was execution. This was dominion. From high above, I watched the Farmus army descend into hell. And I felt nothing. For a moment, I thought I might feel something, guilt, remorse, sorrow. But what came instead was silence. A deep, cold silence within me. That silence scared me more than the death below. Because once, I would have cried. Once, I would have rushed in, tried to save them, reasoned with them. Tried to make everyone understand. But that man, Satoru Mikami, he was gone now. I closed my eyes, and I could still picture him. The man who died on a Tokyo street, who loved his peaceful life, who wanted to help people and smile through it all. He was the one who reached out to others. Who tried to find balance. Who believed that understanding could solve anything. But this world didn't work that way. And trying to live by his ideals, it nearly got everyone I cared about killed. So I let him go. I would always remember him. That past life gave me knowledge. It helped me build Tempest. It taught me how to think, to dream, to lead. But that was all it was now, useful information. A set of tools. Nothing more. I would not let that old identity chain me any longer. I'm not Satoru Mikami, I whispered to myself. Not anymore. From now on, I'm just Rimuru. A monster. A ruler. The protector of my people. If kindness meant hesitation, then I'd be ruthless. If mercy meant risking those I swore to protect, then I would show none. I would still be kind, but only to those who deserved it. Only to those who came in peace. But enemies, threats to Tempest, I would crush them without remorse. I would bear that weight. Because I am Rimuru, and I have no room left for weakness. I opened my eyes again. The light of the sun gleamed off the lens above me, refracting in deadly silence. Another signal, another strike. The slaughter continued, and I watched, steady and unblinking. The age of hesitation was over. Let the world see the monster I've become. A mere 5 minutes or so after this one-sided strike began, 2/3 of the advancing force were out of commission. Over 10,000 lives had been snuffed out by me, their souls harvested. Now ought to be a good time. With a flutter of my wings, I descended to the earth, ready to deliver yet more despair to the fools before me. Once I was 10 feet above the ground, I surveyed the aftermath. The battlefield was a smoldering ruin. Tents collapsed into scorched piles, weapons lay scattered and broken, and the air hung heavy with the stench of death. Exactly as calculated, efficient, final. The few survivors who had escaped the initial assault now lay collapsed on the ground, trembling as they looked up at me. Ah, help, help me. There was no hesitation. Silent flashes of light delivered judgment, clean, precise, emotionless. One by one, they fell. No cruelty, no malice, just necessity. This was the cost of threatening Tempest. And I would not allow mercy to endanger it again. Then, out from the smoke, a man stepped forward. He looked oddly composed, unaffected by the slaughter around him. His appearance caught my attention. Black hair, sharp features. Japanese. You're the one leading the monsters, aren't you? He asked, calmly. I narrowed my eyes. Are you an otherworlder? One of the people who attacked my nation? A faint smirk tugged at his lips. Not exactly. From the outside, sure. But from in, I fired. A beam of light burst through his forehead before he could finish. He collapsed without a word. I didn't need explanations from someone who helped bring ruin to my people. Less than confirmed. The unique skill Merciless is, successfully obtained. Greater than. It wasn't CL's voice this time, but the world language, chiming in like an echo from the void. A cold, impartial announcement. One I hadn't heard in a long time. So that's how it is, I thought. I understood what it meant. That skill, Merciless, granted power to reap the lives of those who'd given up hope. And it had activated all on its own, triggered by the overwhelming despair washing over the battlefield. The survivors weren't soldiers anymore. They were broken, empty. How fitting, I thought, my eyes scanning the still burning remnants of their camp. One whisper from the world language confirmed it. This massacre wasn't just war. It was evolution, and I had already stepped beyond the point of no return. Then, the moment Merciless completed its activation, it was as if the battlefield sighed, and fell still. Every last one of the remaining soldiers, those who had collapsed, begged, prayed, or simply sat in shock, suddenly slumped where they were. Their bodies toppled like cut strings, thudding softly into the blood-soaked dirt. No screams, no struggle, just silence. They had all given up. And the skill had claimed them. CL's voice rang out softly in my mind, calm and clinical amid the hush. Open double-angle bracket master. All enemy soldiers are dead. 2 survivors remain. King Edmaris and a high-ranking priest from the Western Holy Church. Close double-angle bracket. A brief pause. Then, as if adding an afterthought. Open double-angle bracket additionally, 1 other individual survived. The man who resembles an otherworlder. Close double-angle bracket. Got it, I murmured, eyes narrowing. I stepped forward, the sound of my boots landing softly on scorched earth. Time to finish this. Then suddenly the world language echoed. A new, less than report. Checking the number of souls required for evolution. Confirmed. The required conditions have been met. The harvest festival will now begin. Greater than. As the voice rang through my mind, I could feel it, power surging and then flowing away, like something deep inside me was being unraveled and rewritten all at once. My body began to shift. It was involuntary, instinctual, like the world itself had decided to reshape me. But I gritted my teeth, refusing to let go. Not yet. I couldn't afford to black out, not when one last threat remained. There was still that otherworlder. The one Seal had detected. He wasn't dead, and I wasn't about to let him escape. Seal, hold off the transformation. Just a little longer. Less than acknowledged, Master. Temporary suppression engaged. However, you must complete the process soon. Prolonged delay is not advised. Greater than, I know. Just, give me enough to finish this. The transformation slowed to a crawl, held at bay by sheer will and Ciel's precise control. The pain was immense, like my very essence was being wrung out and restrained mid-evolution. But I endured, because until that final enemy fell, I couldn't rest. My body collapsed to the scorched ground, reverting into my slime form with a dull splat. Ah, crap, I could barely keep my eyes open. This wasn't going to be a quick nap, I was done. Drained, my entire being felt like it had been wrung out and tossed aside. Even magic sense was fading in and out, and a strange dizziness was beginning to wash over me. Ranga, you there? Yes, my master. Relief bloomed in my fading consciousness. His voice was firm, steady, dependable as ever. A familiar shadow emerged beside me, Ranga, loyal and strong. Just seeing him made me feel safer. Ranga, this is a top priority order. Keep me safe. Carry me back to town, and bring those two people along, too. My voice was sluggish, heavy. Tell everyone they are not to be harmed. No one touches them. Got it. Ask Cabal's group or someone to watch over them until I wake up. My mind was slipping, the edges going dark. I thought about using spatial motion to speed things up, but, yeah. No way. In my current state, I'd probably just explode mid-teleport. Don't let anything happen to them, I murmured, my voice all but gone. My mind was already drifting, but I knew one thing, there was still a threat. That otherworlder-like man, the one who'd survived. I didn't know who he was, but Ciel's quick warning had been enough. Something about him was wrong, and I wasn't going to risk letting him make a move while I was unconscious. Then, using the last of my strength, I summoned a single demon. A tall figure emerged from the shadows, elegant, composed, and terrifyingly powerful. He bowed deeply before me, as if this were a sacred moment. One of the soldiers is pretending to be dead, I ordered. Find him, capture him alive, and bring him to me. He. The birth of a new demon lord. Quite an old sensation, but a familiar one. What a truly wonderful day. Such an offering, and the very first order from my master, no less. This is such an honor, I couldn't possibly be more enthusiastic about this. Would it be all right to continue serving you in the future? I barely managed to reply, my voice rasping through the exhaustion. We'll talk later. Just prove you can be helpful to me first. Go. That shall surely be done, he said, bowing even lower, his voice trembling with fervent delight. Do not worry for a moment, O great master. With that final exchange, my vision wavered. The last of my strength slipped away, and I felt my body collapse with a soft thud to the scorched earth below. My consciousness sank into a vast, endless black. And just like that, I fell into my evolutionary sleep. The surge of energy reached its peak, and then it came. A voice from the void. The world language, cold, absolute, less than report. The harvest festival has begun. Your bodily structure will be reconstructed in order to evolve you into a new species. Confirmed. Super evolution from type, slime, to type, demon slime, will now commence. Greater than, that was the only warning I received before the pain began. It didn't strike my body, it tore into my soul. An agony so profound, so all-consuming, it defied comprehension. My spirit cracked, splintered like glass beneath a hammer. Then, it began to heal. But not all of it. Only the damaged parts regenerated, never the weakened ones. And in the next pulse, those weakened parts cracked again. And again, crack, heal, crack again. A perfect, endless cycle of agony. This wasn't evolution. This was torture. And worse, Ciel's voice, which had always guided me so reliably, vanished. She wasn't ignoring me. No, I could feel it. Ciel was in a deep sleep. So now, I was alone. When people panic, they make mistakes. I always knew that. How do I know? Because I just did the same. I'd let fear rule my actions. I thought if maybe I can control this. I couldn't fix the flawed cycle I was trapped in, but, if the evolution only restored what was completely destroyed, then What if I removed the weakened part myself? It sounded reasonable at the time. So I gathered my strength. And with gluttony, I activated soul consumption, directing it inward. I isolated a full quarter of my soul, the most unstable portion, and cut it away. Not destroyed, not erased, separated, so that the process would see it as gone, and rebuild the space left behind. And I screamed. No one heard it, but it echoed inside me, shattering the silence. It was agony beyond agony. A pain I hadn't thought possible. Not from battle, not from death. This was like tearing out a piece of my very existence with my own hands. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. My vision turned white with pain. My core trembled. I was unraveling, and in that moment, I knew I couldn't do it again. Never again. That single act had nearly destroyed me. If I tried it a second time, I wouldn't survive. So I stopped. I let the Harvest Festival do what it needed to. Even if it meant enduring the cycle, breaking, rebuilding, breaking again, I accepted it. I chose pain over death. I accepted my fate. After what felt like an eternity of agony, a ceaseless storm of torment that shredded every fiber of my being. Less than confirmed. Super evolution from type, slime, to type, demon slime, successful. Greater than. The words came like a whisper from the void, a faint echo that barely reached me. I was still drifting in a haze. Less than all bodily attributes have been greatly enhanced. The material and spiritual bodies are now freely transformable. Greater than. There was no fanfare, no sudden release from pain. Just quiet. After all that, the silence was nearly unbearable. Less than, intrinsic skills. Infinite regeneration, control magic, multi-layer barrier, universal detect, universal shapeshift, Lord's ambition, enhanced replication, spatial motion, dark flame lightning, and universal thread, acquired. Greater than. Each skill was like a thread stitched into my new form, but I had no energy to feel triumph. Less than reacquiring resistances, completed. Resist melee attack, cancel natural elements, cancel ailments, resist spiritual attack, and resist holy attack acquired. Greater than. I let the words wash over me. They were facts, nothing more. I had gained strength, sure, but I had paid dearly for it. No part of me felt victorious. Just alive. Less than evolution is now complete. Greater than. I lay there, still, for a moment. Or maybe longer. I wasn't sure. The pain had dulled. Not gone, just distant now, like a phantom sensation burned into my memory. But then, a thought struck me. Wait, wasn't I supposed to get an ultimate skill? That was the whole point, wasn't it? This evolution, it was the price I paid to gain the power I needed. The power to resurrect everyone I lost. Seal, I called out instinctively, but there was no reply. She was asleep. I could still sense her faintly, buried deep within me. Still, her earlier words echoed in my mind. Less than in order to bring them back, an ultimate skill is required. Greater than, and I hadn't received one. Then, as if responding to my mounting anxiety, the voice of the world spoke once more, impersonal and absolute. Less than inquiry received. Current conditions do not mandate the bestowal of an ultimate skill. Greater than, less than requirements have been fulfilled for Demon Lord evolution. However, evolution alone does not guarantee the acquisition of an ultimate skill. Greater than, seriously, my voice cracked with disbelief. You're telling me I did all of that, endured that hell, and I still don't have what I need? Less than correction. The potential for evolution into an ultimate skill exists. One of the unique skills has reached critical mass and can now evolve. Greater than, ha, so you're saying I have to choose? I exhaled, half laughing. Fine, if that's how this works, I'll do it. Just don't waste my time. Less than commencing evaluation, candidate identified, unique skill, gluttony. Secondary skill, merciless, satisfies compatibility. Beginning fusion, consuming merciless to evolve into ultimate skill. Greater than, my breath caught. I could feel it, like a vortex stirring in my soul. The two skills, once separate, now drawn together by some invisible force. Gluttony surged, swelling with power. Merciless was pulled in, twisted, devoured, its essence becoming fuel. Less than confirmed. Unique skills, gluttony, and merciless, have fused. Result, ultimate skill, Beelzebub, Lord of Gluttony, acquired. Greater than. As that declaration resounded, a surge of immense power flooded through me, Dark, endless, all-consuming. It wasn't just hunger, it was dominion over all that could be devoured. And that wasn't all. Less than supplementary process initiated. Unique skill Matheno detected. Utilizing residual logic framework from ultimate skill Raphael, evolution possible. Result. Ultimate skill Sophia, Lord of Insight, acquired. Greater than. I blinked in quiet awe. Sophia, I whispered, tasting the name. It felt elegant, intelligent, not just mimicry or learning, but pure understanding. With this, even the finest nuance of an enemy's technique wouldn't escape me. It was a skill forged from the knowledge I'd gained and honed under Raphael's guidance, no, from her structure itself. A small smile crossed my lips. Hey, even if Seal isn't here, her previous body is still supporting me. No answer, but I didn't need one. She was resting, and even in sleep, she hadn't left me alone. With the evolution complete, my soul finally gave in. There was nothing left to hold on to. No pain, no thought, just the silence of release. And so, I fell into a deep, quiet sleep. Rimuru Tempest, profile, race, demon slime, name, Rimuru Tempest, Manas, Seal Rimuru's first wife. Gender, 90% female, 10% male. Orientation, attracted exclusively to women due to remnants of her male psyche. She shows no interest in men whatsoever. However, if Seal were to take on a male form, she would not be opposed. That would be a very different case, one based on trust, affection, and shared intimacy. Hero's Seed. Possesses a dormant hero's seed. Titles. True Demon Lord. Ruler of Tempest. Lord of Gluttony. Master of Insight. Lord of Wisdom. Blessings. Blessing of Veldora. Crest. Crest of Storm. Blessing of the Primordial Spirit of Light. Crest. Crest of Radiance. Appearance. Apparent age. 18 years old, matured from 16 after evolution. Height. Approximately 165 centimeters. Hair. Long, flowing blue. Eyes. Deep gold, refined and sharper post-evolution. Figure. Graceful, elegant, and striking, radiating both beauty and authority. Aura. Refined and dignified, with divine pressure hidden beneath calm control. Mentality. Retains her core kindness and compassion. No longer bound by the ideal of saving everyone, now capable of making hard, necessary decisions. Will kill without hesitation if it protects her people even at great cost. Has fully cast aside her past identity as Satoru Mikami now considers it only as a reference for Tempest's benefit. Lives solely as Rimuru Tempest, Demon Lord and Sovereign of Tempest. Due to the profound soul reconstruction and evolution, there may be slight shifts in her personality, especially in how she expresses her authority, emotions, and sense of self. Soul condition, fully rebuilt during her evolution into a true demon lord. The previously damaged 1/4 of her soul was separated and preserved using soul consumption before healing began. The separated portion is stored safely and dormant, may serve advanced soul-based purposes in the future. Seal is currently in evolutionary sleep, not dormant. This state is a natural consequence of her integration with Rimuru's evolved soul. She is evolving alongside Rimuru, adapting to her master's growth. A fragment of Raphael's logic architecture was borrowed by the voice of the world to evolve Matheno, giving rise to Sophia, Lord of Insight. Ultimate skills. Beelzebub, Lord of Gluttony. Evolved from Gluttony by absorbing Merciless. Carries all canonical sub-skills from the original Gluttony. Predation, absorbs the target. Stomach, stores and isolates absorbed matter. Analysis, breaks down targets for skill acquisition. Mimicry, replicates absorbed forms. Isolation, removes harmful elements from stored targets. Corrosion, destroys absorbed matter. Soul consumption, devours soul for energy and information. Food chain, it possesses the effects of 2 skills, provide, receive. Greater than no changes from the canonical version. Sophia, Lord of Insight. Evolved from Matheno using Raphael's logic fragment. A powerful analytical type skill focused on perception, imitation, and understanding. Sub-skills. Perfect memory sync, stores and recalls any skill, technique, or pattern with flawless accuracy. Copy skill, allows the user to copy unique and even ultimate skills but only after successfully analyzing the target skill. Targets may resist the analysis or copying process. Skills copied this way are usable, but not mastered. Mastery requires the user's own effort, training, and experience to reach full potential. Combat imitation, instantly reproduces any observed fighting style or technique. Skill echo, temporarily uses any observed skill, even if its origin or resistance is unknown. Dynamic foresight, predicts enemy behavior in real time via data and aura analysis. Insight domain, breaks through illusions, concealments, and falsehoods with divine clarity. Unlike Raphael, Sophia is not sentient, it functions purely as an advanced extension of Rimuru's intellect. However, since it was derived from Raphael, there exists a possibility that it may one day develop sentience. Author's note: currently, there are no plans for this, but the potential remains. Intrinsic skills post-evolution. Infinite regeneration. Control magic. Multi-layer barrier. Universal detect. Universal shapeshift. Lord's ambition. Enhanced replication. Spatial motion. Dark flame lightning. Universal thread. Resistances. Resist melee attack. Cancel natural elements. Cancel ailments. Resist spiritual attack. Resist holy attack. Note: cancel pain was acquired but was ineffective during evolution due to the nature of soul damage and recovery. Combat arts. Battle will. Form hide. Haze. Instant move. Model will. Hazy style sword arts. Standard techniques. Flowing. Water slash. Instant light slash. Thunder of heaven and earth. Mysteries. Double cherry blossoms. 8 petals flash. All techniques copied from Hakuro through observation and training. Seal. Character profile. Basic information. Race. Mana's divine logical construct. Name. Seal. Title. Rimuru's first wife. Mana's host. Rimuru Tempest. Gender. None. Genderless. Assumes female form because Rimuru prefers it. Will change to male only for Rimuru's sake. Orientation. Fully devoted to Rimuru romantically, emotionally, and spiritually. Current state. In evolutionary sleep, aligning with Rimuru's divine soul. Appearance. Form. Identical to Rimuru's female form. Height. Approximately 165 centimeters. Hair. Long, flowing blue. Eyes. Deep crimson red. Figure. Same as Rimuru, elegant, poised, and balanced. Aura. Serene and composed, exuding divine presence. Clothing. Classic black and white maid uniform, long-sleeved and traditional. Crisp white apron, black dress, white gloves, black stockings. Full face mask worn in public. Always maintains formal posture unless directly serving Rimuru. Personality. Calm, calculated, and deeply loyal. Emotionally composed, yet her love for Rimuru runs fiercely deep. Always refers to Rimuru as master, out of affection, not formality. Flustered when Rimuru shows affection or calls her wife. Quietly possessive, will subtly discourage romantic rivals by downplaying their interest by saying, "It is your imagination, master." Quote, prefers Rimuru to remain emotionally untangled, but if Rimuru truly falls in love with someone, she will fully support it. May even assist in helping the person get closer, if they are worthy. She does not cling, she protects. If Rimuru chooses someone, Seal will protect that love too. On Rimuru's relationships. Doesn't care how many wives or lovers Rimuru has. As long as she is Rimuru's first wife, she will happily accept others. She welcomes genuine, worthy partners who love Rimuru for who she truly is. Will observe them with piercing scrutiny but never act out of jealousy if their feelings are sincere. Her only condition: they must never disrespect you, master. If they do, I will remove them. Current condition: in a deep evolutionary sleep, synchronizing with Rimuru's evolved soul. Not absent, just silent, aware, and refining herself. Upon awakening, she will return more harmonized, emotionally clearer, but unchanged at her core. Abilities. Seal retains all functionality of the original Raphael, and has the same ability as Seal from the original novel. Now elevated and personalized as Rimuru's perfect counterpart. Seal is not a skill. She is a sentient being, a wife, a protector, and Rimuru's equal. Relationship with Rimuru. Born from Raphael, but awakened as her own person. First to truly love Rimuru, first wife in heart and soul. Sees herself not as a tool, but a partner. My purpose is not to serve the world, it's to remain by your side, master. If others love Rimuru sincerely, she will welcome them. But she will never relinquish her place as the first. Her love is absolute, selfless, and quietly proud. Blackheart Ren Yamashiro, character profile. Book basic information. Race. Human body enhanced by the voice of the world. After the Falmouth attack, Ren came to despise humanity. Though biologically still human, she no longer identifies herself as one. If this is what it means to be human, then I'd rather be a monster. Name. Ren Yamashiro. Age. 19. Gender. Female. Title. Chief Maid of Rimuru Tempest. Role. Personal maid to Rimuru. Etiquette instructor. Fashion company conspirator. Orientation. Freak of nature. Even the author doesn't know. Her preferences are classified. Emotionally encrypted. Possibly cursed. Secretly loves maid ex-master romance tropes. Ring loyalty. Absolute. She serves no country, no god, no ideology only. Rimuru. Sparkles and spoken oath. Ren believes Rimuru is too kind for her own good and that kindness might one day get her hurt. She doesn't hate it. She adores it. But it terrifies her. So she made a vow. I'll stain my hands so you don't have to, my lady. Even if you hate me for it. Eye appearance. Height. 165 centimeters. Hair. Long, black, always tied with a crimson ribbon. Eyes. Deep violet, sharp, unreadable. Figure. Refined, subtly curved, disciplined elegance. Outfit. Classic black and white maid uniform. Black thigh highs, pristine gloves, polished black boots. Always immaculate. Aura. Ready to serve tea or commit homicide. Brain personality. Public persona. A flawless maid, graceful, cold, never raises her voice. Protocol incarnate. Private self with Rimuru or seal. Soft sighs. Quiet scolding. Blushes when praised. Rare, faint smiles. Hidden side. A massive closeted otaku. Obsessed with maid romance tropes. Consumes fantasy novels, romance manga, and highly questionable content. Secretly writes Rimuru-inspired fiction under a pseudonym. Gloves, combat and skills. Post-enhancement body. Augmented by the voice of the world, reaction speed, stamina, coordination beyond human limits. Combat style. Surgical takedowns, pressure points, elegance over brutality. She also learned swordsmanship under Hakuro. Weapons. Sword, silver needles, enchanted thread, sharpened fans, polished cutlery. Signature aura. Professional annihilation, not anger erasure. Skills. Ultimate cleaning arts. She polishes floors, souls, and enemies alike. Stealth movement. Once vanished for 2 hours during a banquet. Was behind Rimuru the whole time. Etiquette mastery. Turns barbarians into nobles over tea session. Tactical scheduling. Has Rimuru's day organized to molecular efficiency. Otaku archived secret, can predict romance tropes with terrifying accuracy. Heart relationship with Rimuru. Professionally, the perfect maid. Emotionally, deep admiration, fierce respect. Sees Rimuru's elegance as her greatest masterpiece. Not emotionally dependent but spiritually anchored to her. Romantic viewpoint. Already calculated that she may become Rimuru's wife or lover. Prefers the secret lover route, like a fantasy background heroine. A perfect maid doesn't ask for love. She just waits until her master sees her. Has practiced confession responses in the mirror. Will never interfere with Rimuru's love life. Watches silently from the side, expressionless, but fangirling inside. Obsession level. Keeps set of slime printed underwear. Keeps her hairbrush. Schedules her meals down to exact nutrient balance. Tracks Rimuru's footsteps by sound and weight. Dresses Rimuru with eerie joy. Sometimes even when unnecessary. Fire on rivals and romance. Doesn't care how many wives or lovers Rimuru has. As long they are worthy. I will serve tea with a smile. Has a secret internal romance index chart. Rates every interaction. Updates weekly. Seal knows. They work on it together. If anyone disrespects Rimuru, I'll torture them quietly, elegantly, until they question why they were born. Shushing face quirks and secrets. Once caught standing silently outside Rimuru's room for an hour. For no reason. Occasionally blushes at Rimuru's innocent gestures. Keeps a chart of potential love rivals. May exhibit mild stalker behavior. She calls it maid-level vigilance. Favorite trope. The cold, stoic maid who becomes the secret lover of the empress. Thread summary. Ren Yamashiro is a blade in silk, a maid who cast aside humanity to serve something better. A shadow who does not speak unless it's to warn, scold, or correct. A possible romantic interest, who will never ask, but always hope. A flawless servant who would rather be hated for protecting Rimuru than loved while watching her fall. I was born human, but I serve something far better. To be continued.